Today, we have another deck tech for you. We have Rakdos Vampires. A lot of vampires to introduce to you if this is your first time seeing vampires, so we're going to go over them today. We have an aggressively slanted mid-range deck here with a couple of efficient removal spells. Let's go ahead and get started with the deck list, and we're going to play some matches after this as well. We have Falkenrath Pit Fighter, which is a 1-mana 2/1. It is a rare, it is a vampire warrior. It is a 1 and a red, discard a card, sacrifice a vampire, which you can sacrifice itself also to draw 2 cards. Activate only if an opponent lost life this turn. 4 Play with Fire, which is a better shock, basically. It deals 2 damage to any target. If a player dealt damage this way, scry 1. We have 4 Infernal Grasp, which is, I think, is the best removal spell in all of Arena now. It's 1 and a black for an uncommon instant. Destroy target creature, you lose 2 life. That's it. Slaughter Specialist is a 2-mana 3/3. It is a vampire also. When it enters the battlefield, you do give your opponent a 1/1 white human creature token. Whenever one of your opponent's creature dies, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on Slaughter Specialist, so this thing can get out of hand really fast, especially if you force your opponent to block this. We have 4 Bloodthirsty Adversaries, which has haste. It is a 2/2, but as it enters the battlefield, you can pay a number of mana any number of times, and when you pay it multiple times, you put a +1/+1 counter on it for each time you paid that cost, and then exile up to that many instant or sorceries with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard and copy them. And then you may cast any number of the copies without paying their mana cost, which is one of the reasons why we're playing Infernal Grasp and Soul Shatter and Play with Fire in our deck, so that we can use this card's ability even better. And like, not only is it a 2/2 haste, but it can also gain a lot of value out of the graveyard. We have 4 Vampire Socialite, which ties the room together with vampires. It is a 2-mana 2/2 menace. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each other vampire you control. This is going to be similar to a Thalia's Lieutenant type card. As long as an opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. We have 2 Soul Shatters, like I said before, 4 Nighthawk Scavengers, which is going to give us some lifelink, has some flying and death touch as well, and it's going to be pretty huge with the amount of spells that we're going to be casting and putting into our graveyards and into their graveyards. We have 2 Florian Voldaren Scions. It is a legendary, so we do have 2 copies of this in the deck. This is going to be one of our ways to accrue card advantage as well. On turn 3, we play this card, or on turn 4, whenever we play this card. On the following turn, we attack them, or we deal, like, Play with Fire their face or something. And then this card is going to, at the beginning of the post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the total amount of life your opponent's lost this turn. Exile one of those cards and put the rest on the bottom, and then you can play the exiled card. And then at the top end, we have Lol Spider Queen to make 2 2/1s and keep drawing us cards as well against those in the aggro mirrors. We're going to be able to outvalue them in the late game. We have a few lands that I want to mention here. Let's highlight Haunted Ridge. It's a new land that came out in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. So they're called like slow lands. On turn 3 and further, this comes into play on tap. We have 1 copy of Immersturm, or 2 copies of Immersturm Skullcairn. It enters the battlefield tapped. It adds black mana, and you can pay 4 mana to deal 3 damage to their face, and they discard a card. We have 1 Hive with Eye Tyrant and 4 Gun of the Bugbears to add some creature density to our decks when we're flooding out, and so we can attack them. We have some sideboard cards here. We have 2 Bloodchief's Thirst. What's notable about this card is it can be flashed back with Bloodthirsty Adversary, or copied, I should say, without paying its mana cost, but you can still kick this, so that's important. We have 4 Duress, 1 Ray of Enfeeblement, 3 Skyclave Shade for control decks, Soul Shatter for those Ghost-Band Dragon decks, 2 Crippling Fears, because we are vampires, so all we have to do is choose vampire, and then every other non-vampire gets -3/-3, and then 2 Immersturm Predators against graveyard decks and control decks to have that indestructible and graveyard exile. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into some matches. I'm super excited to play this deck in new standard post-rotation. Mystic Snake. Isn't that just Lotus Cobra? Like, I had 1 monitor for the first year I was streaming and had no problem with it at all. The only reason why I have the second monitor, why I got the second monitor, was because it's easier for me to run my Stream League tournaments. Yeah, also I'm a server, so you either multitask or you just get fired immediately. That's a Magda. Insert Play with Fire. Oh, how I wish this was an untap land. This is Thalia's Lieutenant. Dang it. I'm just doing this to like scry 1. Crap. I thought it was only them not playing spells, not just me. But I guess it's both players. If a player casts at least 2 spells, it becomes day. Okay. God, that's such a good land. So I go Nighthawk Scavenger here. So if I cast 2 spells, it becomes day. At least 2 spells. You're gonna double play with Fire Me? Holy crap. Value. There could be like a Goldspan Dragon next turn or something. I'm playing this though. That's fine. All right, that was pretty good, right? What is this? What is this, like werewolf mid-range? This looks like Gruul Magda that never drew the dragon. So I'm just gonna bring in my removal spells and take out Pit Fighters and a Bloodthirsty Adversary on the draw. This hand seems pretty good. Okay. So if I dealt damage, my vampires come on the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. +1/+1 counter vampire. Sick. And then this says when it's night, werewolves get +1/+1. Oh, rebuke deals 4 damage. Okay, yikes. And then this adds mana. Oh, it's Gruul Magda with this, and this adds mana, and this adds mana. Okay. Oh wow, that's a big deal.
I fight for everything.
Crap, they're gonna -2, -3. Alright, I need an untapped land. Okay, I don't think that's gonna work. Oh, this has Menace. Do I need to kill Arlen?
The hunter becomes the hunted.
I need to make sure I don't die. It's kind of a good card to draw there. Oh my gosh, I'm just dead now. Did you lead flow off the top? Sure. Okay, so I go Slaughter Specialist turn 2. Alright, I know they have the deal 2 damage spell. So I'm not blocking. Oh, they're playing Bard class. All right, so I get Infernal Grasp plus Slaughter Specialist. All right, that was much better than Heartless Act there. I like how Scavenger mitigates the Infernal Grasp damage. Oathspan came out. Oh, they have Thundering Rebukes for days. When you cast a creature, Planeswalker, Adventure in the dungeon, it triggers only once each turn with Ward 1 and Reach. I see, yikes that it has Reach. Why does it enter with 1/1 counter on it? Oh, from Bard class. Grab, this thing's a 3/3. Alright, so I can only block one of these. Then either one I'm left over, I'm okay with being left over with, but I just trade with Duress. And then this becomes a 6/6. Oh, and it's night because I didn't cast a spell. Alright, so I can kill my Slaughter Specialist, but if I can kill this 1/1, I have to chump block. Crap. Alright, I guess it's top of my deck versus top of their deck. Oh crap, I didn't know I could think and pump. Okay, so I get a 1/1, sure. Alright, top deck versus top deck. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm glad they can't play both of those. Man, that sucks. At least this has Menace. If they keep drawing... Yeah, if they keep drawing, like, gas, I'm gonna lose. Because Bard class gives them card advantage. Alright, so this has Menace, so they're gonna block with like a couple things here. I'm gonna kill their Targ, because Targ can get bigger. Every time they cast a legendary spell, they get to look at the top 4 cards of the deck. Oh my gosh, that's broken. Is this lethal? This is lethal, right? I do this, call Vampire. Wow. Attack for lethal? 7/7? Oh my gosh. Yo! Sick. I'm gonna give my final thoughts on what I think this deck can do here. Falkenrath Pit Fighter, the more I think about this card, like, I do like it. It's not bad. It's a 1-mana 2/1. It's actually really, really good. But, like, it's not good against other aggro decks because we're like less guaranteed to deal damage to them all the time. It is a good blocker, so if your opponent plays like 3-mana 2/2s, then it's also pretty good. So you can just block it, you can like trade up like that. But it's fine when Pit Fighter's bad, then we can turn into more of a control deck and play our Bloodchief's Thirst and our Crippling Fears, and it's fine. Soul Shatter is for Goldspan Dragon, didn't really come up there. Loth, I kind of wanted to play 4 of these. Every time I drew this card, it was absolutely nuts. Bloodthirsty Adversary is really good with Play with Fire, Infernal Grasp, as we just saw there. You saw how good Vampire Socialite was in that last game. Slaughter Specialist was like actually huge in the games that we played, so definitely really, I think this is worth it. Giving them a 1/1 to have like a huge creature is pretty good. Nighthawk Scavenger is very good as well. It's also a vampire. All in all, I think this deck's pretty good. I mean, it does have some things that I need to work on. Crippling Fear probably needs to be bumped up a notch, either 1 in the main deck or 3 or 4 in the sideboard. But we didn't play against any hard control decks, so I'd be interested to see how this does against hard control. I don't think we would have a bad problem against hard control, since we have cards like Soul Shatter for their Planeswalkers and maybe their Goldspan Dragons, Skyclave Shades to keep coming back, Duresses, so I don't think we're even that bad against control. So if you would like to play this deck, make sure to look in the description of the YouTube video, and the entire deck list importable would be for you on Arena. New Innistrad Midnight Hunt, Rakdos Vampires, please give this a try. We had a lot of fun with this. I'm looking forward to playing this deck in the future. So with that said, I will see you in the next video.